What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of That Hobby Show. And we are back at full strength this weekend. Not only am I here, but we have Houston from Chasing the Graph. What's going on, buddy?
Not a whole lot, man. We finally got fall temps here in North Carolina, so it's taking all I have not to run around outside naked.
I was gonna say you're pretty bundled up, and I was just talking to my parents back in Maryland, and they said it's in the 40s there, and that's pretty gross. I think today it was high 80s, low 90s. So yeah, but this is our fall weather, and it is awesome. I absolutely love it. Uh, but it does get pretty cold here though at night.
Yeah.
We actually have frost warnings and stuff like that, so people can cover up their plants and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyway, it's not that weather show; it's that hobby show. So I've been peeping your Twitter, and you have been getting some really cool wrestling autographs.
Yeah. I wasn't quite sure what to expect in the wrestling world because, in the sport 50, and, they may sign for you or not sign for you. But as far as I can tell, even just buying autographs and stuff, wrestlers seem to be pretty much unanimously like, hell yeah, I'll sign that for you.
Yeah, and their autographs, they're actually pretty reasonable. You know,
Yeah, that's
because
one thing I've been very surprised about.
yeah, well, you don't really have like those guys that in the wrestling hobby that are all about prospecting or investing in wrestlers. So I really don't. Yeah, I can't remember any really hyped up wrestling card until that wrestler is like well established. Because now people want a John Cena rookie card. They didn't really care, when he was coming up, or a CM Punk. I guess maybe when guys are getting ready to come up from him in NXT, or they're getting signed from like Ring of Honor or New Japan, and they're going to make that jump to WWE. Maybe they get a little bit of a bump, but then give it a year or two, and WWE ruins their career or releases them, and then they go and flourish somewhere else.
Pretty much. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So you picked up a set not too long ago, right? Was it All Out?
All in, yeah,
All
yeah.
in. All in.
Um, One of the probably, I don't want to say the most sought after sets, but it's one of the most sought after sets that has a ton of today's stars, mostly or all AEW rookie cards in it. And the company High Spots Superstore is what they call it, and it's all online. They have no walk-in store. Thank God they don't, because it's in Charlotte. It's an hour and a half away, and I'd be living in a box right now because where my home got foreclosed on. But they're the ones that actually did the set, had it manufactured, and had it made. And right now, the complete set goes for. I looked like a month ago when I got mine, somewhere around there, and the last two sold were $300, and you could get them from High Spots for 100. And just the Britt Baker, who was the AEW Women's World Champion, just her card alone goes for over 100 on eBay, and so I was extremely excited to pick that set up. And
Is that an autograph card?
there's not one autograph card in it, and the Britt Baker rookies are non-autographed, and they still go for 100 plus on eBay. And there's a couple of other rookie cards in there that go for like 50, 60 a piece, and they're not really bringing that premium like hers is.
Mm-hmm.
But High Spots doesn't advertise that they have the set. You wouldn't know they had the set unless somebody told you they did, and that's what happened. A friend of mine was like, "Yo, I scored the set from High Spots for 100." So I'm like messaging their Facebook page, and they're like, "Yeah, we have a set. It's limited to one per customer. Do you want me to invoice you for it?" And I was like, "Yes." you can't invoice me fast enough, and I can't pay you fast enough.
Right. That's awesome though. So I'm glad you got in on it. What did you? I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but what's the print run on the set?
I want to say 1,200 sets were made, if I remember right. So
Okay.
it's not exactly, 600 or 700, but it's not exactly 15,000 either.
Yeah, no, I mean that's still pretty low, 1,200 for a set. Uh,
hmm
so what else have you been purchasing?
High Spots also have they do signings with wrestlers all the time. A
Mhm.
few independents here and there, a lot of WWE, AEW, Hall of Famers, that kind of thing, and they will do signed all in cards when somebody in that set comes up. And there's one that I've really been wanting, and that was an MJF signed all in card. He's probably one of the best heels in wrestling ever. And I missed out on it once because I was doing an interview with a wrestler, and I tried the whole message their Facebook page thing, and they were like, "No, we don't have any signed all in cards." Fuck me, I guess. But like I had severe FOMO. Like I'd lay awake and think about it at night, and just with the limited print run and it being signed, I was just like, man, if I want this card, I'm gonna have to pay like 150, $200 for it off eBay. And this past Tuesday, I was supposed to have an interview with an independent wrestler at 7. And earlier on Tuesday, High Spots posted that they were going to be doing a sale that night. And one of the pictures was about 5 or 6 signed all in cards.
Mhm.
And so, like, sweet, here we go again. Going to miss out on this. And the MJF was in the picture. And so I'm like, I'm going to stick with the independent wrestler. And I set my wife up with everything she needed because it's a live auction or it's a live sale. It's a Facebook Live, and there's a format of how you have to comment to in order to purchase the card. And so she's got like a little notepad out. I'm giving her notes. I'm telling her, you may have to be in this live for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, because you don't know when that card's going to come up. And so she's sitting there watching a live. I come in, the man cave to do my interview, and 7:10 goes by, 7:15 goes by, 7:20 goes by, and the wrestler actually stood me up. But the first thing I did was I went to the living room, pulled up High Spots, and I was like, babe, you're off the hook. I can take it from here. And I actually got a Cody Rhodes signed all in card and a MJF signed all in card, 40 a piece,
Yeah,
which is
I don't know prices for wrestling cards, but I mean,
absolute
if you're
absolute
happy, I'm
steal.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah, absolute steals with there only being 1,200 of those cards, and only I think 100 of them are signed at this point.
Yeah.
And when you look at trading card database for MJF, he has one card in like existence. It's really technically three if you count the two indie cards he had,
Yeah.
but on trading card database, he only has one card in circulation.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's another thing I've really enjoyed about wrestling is you don't pull up a wrestler's name and then there's like 4 or 5 digits, but I don't know how many cards he has in circulation.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's awesome that you were able to get those cards. Especially, I know Cody Rhodes, like not personally. I know who he is, so
Yeah,
that's pretty cool that you were able to get something that I think even a casual fan would know who that was or
yeah,
is. So yeah,
yeah.
awesome. So me, I have been on a 3D slash lenticular card kick lately. I just I don't know the nostalgia and stuff. So I've been buying up those of my favorite Asian players, and they're actually really cheap for what they are. I think. But yeah, so my Yoshi. Oh, it's hard to see, but Yoshi Satsugo. That was a $2 card, rookie card, not bad. I got
Yeah.
KK. Kwang Hyun Kim. That one's more the like lenticular, but his rookie cup, like a buck. I went old school. Chan Ho Park, the old sports flicks, another dollar card. I'm like, I, I'm like, I'll be able to get them signed eventually, one day. You know, it. Now that I'm retired, I can fly super cheap military aircraft to South Korea or Japan if I need to get them signed. So it's totally reasonable for me to buy these, thinking that I'm going to be able to get them signed.
In today's world, finding a card you want, it only being $1, $2, $3. I mean, you don't even need to justify buying it. It's not like a $90 purchase, and you're like, well, it'll complete my set, or I'll get it signed eventually. I mean, at $1 or $3, you can buy it just because.
Yeah, and then so my big purchase, I found that Yoshi had a SP image variation. Horrible photo, but still, I didn't know that the card existed. So that was
2020.
Yeah, 2020. It update, and then my big purchase, $5, was this one of Hyun Il Che, Dodgers prospect, South Korean. I'm not a huge fan of the unlicensed cards, because I do like the logos, but I just think that's a really good looking card.
That's the one thing about unlicensed cards, man. They look so good usually.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of the Elite Extra Edition, because usually those guys, they'll get the Korean dudes or the Japanese guys. Usually it's not a lot of Japanese high schoolers or college players because of the posting system in Japan. So they they usually don't skip that. But a lot of these younger Korean guys, usually Elite Extra Edition is when they have their first cards, and then people don't care, and then a year or two later they're in Bowman and they have that Bowman first logo, and they're like, oh no, that's his real rookie card, or that's his real first card, and it's like,
yeah.
He's had cards for a couple years, they just don't have the logos, so you're kind of missing out. So
yep.
yeah. And then
wrestling cards is, there's no RC like rookie card logo. You just have to do your research.
Yeah, right. And yeah, I mean, honestly, the only thing that's missing from this is that's noticeable is the hat logo. And honestly, I don't really think it's all that bad without the hat logo. I just really like the card. And then we have Dan checking in. What's up, Dan? Korean cardboard. But yeah, so that's what I have been purchasing. And then I also did some adulting this past week. We've discussed a couple times on here that our first in-person meeting will be next year at the National, which will be Atlantic City. So me being the adult that I am, I started a savings account specifically just for the National. So here's what I'm doing. Put a little bit of cash in it for the National. But if I buy a card, I have to pay for the card out of that pot of money. And then if I sell a card, I take that profit or whatever I sell it for, and it goes back into the account. So my my goal is to have at least $2,000, because I'm going to have to fly, going to have a rental car, and then if you do make it, hopefully we can get a hotel room with 2 beds so we can split the cost, because I need to have some money left over for my cheap autographs to buy up, because I don't want to be able to, or I don't want to be in the situation where it's like I spent all my money on travel expenses, and now I'm hitting up the dollar menu and just trying to get whatever free swag I can. So I want to be able to enjoy it. So
definitely not have that stress of oh, if I buy this card, then I can't buy another one. What if I see a better deal? Or what if I don't see a better deal and this is the only deal I see, and then I come back and it's not there? Yeah, I feel it. I feel
Yeah,
it.
I'm definitely trying to get in that mindset, or I don't know what you would call it, but I want to be able to use the hobby to grow my hobby, if that makes any sense and everything.
Oh, absolutely, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have been trying to do a budget more and things like that. I I I haven't been financially irresponsible. It's just one of those things where I pay my bills, pay extra on them, things like that. Not really hurting for any money. Uh, it's just that I really didn't put my words into action, I guess. So yeah, I'm because if this is something that I want to do, when I actually retire, I need to be better at it, and keeping track of what I'm buying, how much I'm spending on the hobby, how much is going in, how much is going out, type thing. So yeah, and it's also motivated me to try and sell more cards as well.
And it's
Yeah,
hard right now. I feel like selling raw singles right now. I feel like it's really hard.
yeah, yeah. Well, that yeah.
I mean, I
It's
haven't really been trying, but at
yeah,
the same time, if I list the card, it doesn't even get like a like or like Hobby Connector retweets it, and that's as far as it goes.
yeah. It's because you're the bad boy of hobby Twitter, man.
I don't know about all that. I think if I stopped trolling, I'd do a little better.
Maybe, but hey, it gets your name out there.
That's the truth. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
I go back to the old Pirates of the Caribbean saying when they say Jack Sparrow, you're undoubtedly the worst pirate I've ever heard of, and he says, "But you have heard of me."
yeah, yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
I'd say it's a good thing, honestly.
because I've had some people in the group chat say like, oh, it's kind of cool you don't, you know,
Oh, sorry, I muted your mic. I had to cough, and I was going to mute mine. And sorry. But anyway, in the group chat.
oh, I was just saying that in the group chat, I've had like a couple of people say like, you're one of the few that if you see something, you say something kind of thing, and I'm sure there's one or two that, like, oh yeah, you said what everyone was thinking, but then there's like 15 and they're like, this guy's annoying as hell.
But the thing is, the hobby is so huge, it's impossible to play all the sides. Uh, I think even like who would you consider the most liked person in the hobby?
Um, if I'm gonna be unbiased and impartial, it'd probably be card purchaser.
Yeah.
But if I'm going
Even there
on,
was drama this week on Twitter about him. So like you can't please everyone because somebody's going to find something. Like uh even me, I'm sure I'm muted and blocked by a shitload of people because on threads I always see like this person limits who can view their tweets and stuff, and I've researched it, and I think that means they've either muted you or blocked you.
yeah, because it's like you're unable to see these tweets because the author limits who can respond or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't I don't get super political. I try to, just it's really hard to keep it hobby related, but even then, so what have I done to piss people off? I guess it's like they don't like Japanese or Korean or Taiwanese baseball cards. I don't know what it is. So I mean, it's kind of hard to like, I guess, make everybody like you. So why not have some fun and you
And
know
it's so funny too because the little bit of I guess I woke up and chose violence one morning. We were on vacation last week, and you asked me about it, and it's so funny because I had one person unfollow me, but three more follow me, and once or twice a week, maybe I'll go through and look at people that haven't followed me back, and then unfollow them or whatever. And so I was looking, and I was like, I'll probably never find out who unfollowed me, because I'm not trying to scroll through 1,800 accounts to see that. And the person that I engaged with, somebody commented on their post later on that day that had nothing to do with anything that went on when me and that one guy were conversing, but he replied back the comment that I made. And so I was like, oh, okay. And I went to this guy's account. He was the one that unfollowed me. And so, of course, I unfollowed him. And last week, no, the week before we were on vacation, I don't know if you follow Tyler Murphy. It's like, hey, it's Ty Murph or something like that is his handle. But
Yeah.
he was trying to put a rack together for some people or for somebody, and then he was looking for people that just, wanted to donate toward, like, pay for the card to. And so I messaged him, and he said he was only a little bit away, so I donated some money. And the day after this guy blocked me, I got tagged in the post to where the card that I helped pay for went to him, and that he was thanking me, and like 12 other accounts were pitching in so that it could be sent to him. So I was just like,
yeah.
But anyway,
yeah. I mean, if if people would actually like talk to somebody and get to know them, maybe DM them, you might find out, hey, even though you don't agree on this one thing, you probably have a bunch of other stuff in common. Because we all have something in common. We collect baseball cards or sports cards in general. So,
yep.
And then most of the time people get the arguments, the drama that we have is over the stupidest shit. Like, oh, you don't like HGA, or you're only PSA, or like me, I don't like unlicensed cards, but I still buy them anyway, because if I see a card I like, I'm going to buy it. And then, or it's funny. I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers with a passion, and the Cleveland Browns. And I'd say there's a couple hundred followers that I have that are Browns and Steelers fans, and I follow them back, and we get along just perfectly fine. It's just because somebody doesn't share your opinion on what you collect, because it is your collection, something that makes you happy. What is wrong with that?
And 99% of the time, it seems like all the drama is over either which grading company you send a card to, or flipping retail, or just collecting it. And those two arguments are going to be there, and they're always going to be there. And it's just like both of those arguments are just like Republican versus Democrat. Nobody's ever going to agree. Nobody's ever going to come to a universal decision that, you know what, HGA could be a legitimate company, and maybe I should stop talking shit about them all the time, because it doesn't do anything but get more eyes on HGA.
Yeah. And one of the things that bothers me, this one, it really bothered me more than I thought it would. But there's this one dude on Twitter. I've had here, really good comment. Yeah, your cardboard man is stupid and mine is better, so I'm blocking you. That's basically it's basically what it is, man. No, I'm not sharing my toy with you. But one of the things, so I think everybody knows I was in the military. I love history and military memorabilia. There's one dude on Twitter. I don't think the dude has ever said anything bad to anyone or been negative.
Super nice guy. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. He collects military memorabilia, and some of that is Nazi memorabilia. Like, they actually have trading cards that, you know, have Nazi stuff on them back in the day, like the I think there's even old tobacco cards of Indians, and it's like the Redskins slaughtering, you know, white settlers type stuff, and people don't flip out over that. But uh, but people are treating this dude like he's a Nazi, and it's like, what? What? How dare you post that on here? You should, you know, you shouldn't be collecting that. And I'm like, what? What? Yeah, what the Nazis did in World War II was absolutely horrible and atrocious. No shit. You know, I think we all agree on that. But just because that guy collects it doesn't mean that, you know, he's a fan of the Third Reich. He's not running around, you know, foot stomping, waving the flag and, you know, shit like that. But people are giving this dude a hard time and judging him. And why? And the guy, I think one time he tried selling some of the stuff, and the guy on Midwest Box Breaks on his post like just went ape shit over it.
Yeah, he was like, "Get that shit off my post."
Yeah, yeah. So
And
I
my whole argument about that was, if somebody posted a card of Ray Rice, is he going to tell them to get that off of his post? No,
no,
dude,
no.
literally knocked the woman unconscious in an elevator on camera for the world to see.
Well,
But
we're I guess we're going to get into politics, but
yeah,
well, fuck it, you know. Anyway, because nobody else is talking about this, so why not us? You know, why
what's
not?
happening?
So on those same posts, those same sales every Wednesday and Saturday, I remember him pushing Colin Kaepernick cards extremely hard. So they're two sides of the fence. Me, again, me being in the military, the flag and the anthem means something different to me, but I also did not have a problem with his protest. Now, when he's wearing the socks that have pigs and cop uniforms, that pissed me off. But why is it okay for him, uh, Midwest Box Breaks? Why is it okay for you to post your Colin Kaepernick stuff on for sale, and also allow other people to post that, but it's not okay for somebody else to put their, you know, Nazi cards on there? And I'm not saying like Nazi memorabilia, like the dude has pins. He might have pins. I don't know. But he kind of went quiet on those things. But he was only selling uh, card related items that dealt with that. So
And
just
if I'm not mistaken, there's nothing on the post that says sports cards only, no miscellaneous slash, you know, whatever.
yeah, and you would be surprised how many people in the military actually he has pins too. Yeah, yeah, the pins are really highly sought after. You'd be surprised how many people in the military actually collect Nazi stuff. Not because we're I don't have any of that stuff personally. I have way too much shit as it is. So but why, or no, I'm sorry. There's a lot of people in the military that collect that just because of the historical purposes. You know, it's, how is that us saying that, hey, you're not allowed to collect that? How is that any different from when the Taliban, uh was it the Taliban, or I think it was the Taliban. Let's go with the Taliban. And is that any different from when they went and started destroying all those historical artifacts? Because now nobody can view it, nobody can see it. There's all that history is wiped out. So now we're just supposed to start destroying all that stuff because it's not. I just think the what we could learn from it, and well, there, it's not like it's a dinosaur fossil, you can't, like, you know, study it, but you can learn from it. And then somebody sees that, and I think it it starts a conversation, and it maybe jogs the memory of all these people that now we're just going to forget about it like it never happened. But you can, yeah, you can see it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of going on a rant, and my thoughts are going a mile a minute, so it's kind of hard to
But
get.
yeah, and if in I've had I think his name, the guy that has those cards. I'd had very little interaction with him before that, and I messaged him because he was getting absolutely handled on Twitter, and I just didn't
Yeah,
think it, and I didn't think it was fair, and so I just reached out to him, and I was like, I'm nobody. I don't mean shit to you or anybody else in this hobby. Just one absolutely useless opinion is collect what you want, collect what you love, and just like don't take into account what some random person on Twitter has to say about your collection. He messaged me back and we had a very good conversation. And if people took the time to do what I do or what I did instead of just being like, man, fuck this guy. He's a Nazi. He's probably walking around with a swastika tattooed on his chest, like showing it to people. And he actually has enough card and memorabilia that he is, I think, either in the process of or going to open up his own museum. And this is his reasoning behind collecting this stuff. One, because he loves it, but two, he wants to open up his own card museum of anything and everything, and entails war, military, and history cards. And once you learn that, it's really hard to sit there and be like, "What an idiot you are, man! Look at you going around doing
yeah,
the state Heil in public." It's just because if him having a card in his hand representing, Nazis or something that happened in history, then us having baseball and football cards makes us football and baseball players, right? By that logic. And that
yeah,
was what the arguments is like, if him having this card makes him a Nazi, then I'm a football player, I'm a basketball player, I'm a soccer player, I'm a baseball player, I'm a wrestler. Like,
yeah,
if we're gonna go with that logic, then you know, I'm and and one of the guys who I was also trolling this past week, he tweeted something about it. And he actually had so many people reply to him, quote tweet him, and retweet him. Like, bro, just because you don't understand this and you can't compartmentalize anything doesn't mean someone else can. And it's actually a big part of history. And it's actually really sought after. He posted like a couple hours later and was like, I don't know what's going on. I need to take some time to reflect, and I'm going to take 24 hours off of Twitter just because he was wrong. And it's like, you're going to take 24 hours because you had off of Twitter because you had to admit you were wrong. Like,
yeah.
okay,
In Chris's collection, he's he's shown it on Twitter sometimes, not the full collection, but if you would just take a couple minutes to go through the guy's Twitter feed, you would see that it is insane the amount of military stuff he has. I think uh, Upper Deck released. They do it. I want to say every year, maybe, but the is it Goodwin Champions where
mm-hmm.
they have pieces of planes and uniform relics and stuff. And his collection was big enough that Upper Deck like retweeted it. That because I think he has like the full run of autographs and almost
And
all of the relic ones.
if we're going to go down this slippery slope of people owning cards with pictures on them, why are we not going after the companies that post those or that create and make those and manufacture those cards with those pictures on them?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't.
If you're going to keep that energy, keep that energy.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Why? Honestly, why go after that person? The low hanging fruit. Why not go after the machine that keeps churning it out type
Yeah,
stuff?
'cause, I think it was earlier this year, Tops did a Garbage Pail Kids, and it was basically, when you broke it down, it was a white hand with like a teapot or something beating Asian kids.
Yeah.
And they got people. A lot of people were upset at Tops, and they went after Tops. But it was not like we're all out in force here, And then
We sorry, didn't mean to get fired up. We got a little bit fired up, but yeah.
it's a really good topic because there's so many gatekeepers in the hobbies and so many people that have a little bit of clout and think because they tweet something that is the law. And I use the term orbiters, and that's all it is these accounts have orbiters that will defend these people to the death no matter how wrong they are. Which, I mean, it's good to have friends that have your back no matter what, even though, like, no matter how wrong you are. But at the same time, it's all in the name of clout, is all it is. Like, oh my gosh, maybe if I agree with so and so, he'll, like, retweet my tweet or something like that. And I
Yeah.
don't get it. I really don't get it. I just don't.
When you're saying that though, it got me thinking, and it's crazy if you think about it, that most of these people on Twitter, like, we've never met on Twitter, or we've never met in person. I think I have like 1,800, like maybe 1,800 followers, right?
Mhm.
Out of all those followers, I've probably met five in real life, and there's maybe only 15 that are friends. Uh, but these people, these huge accounts, and I'm not hating on your follower total, but it's almost like the followers are putting them up on this, like, hero worshiping these people that they've never met. That the only interactions they've had with these people is giving them your money. You're getting a card back in return, but you're putting these people up on a pedestal like they're an athlete. Not that athletes should be put on this pedestal, but the type of hero worship that these guys get, that's what's kind of equivalent to. And the people that defend them, somebody you've never met, it blows my mind that yeah, and orbiters is a great term for it. Like, you don't know this person, but the person that you're helping them bash, you haven't met that person either. The only difference is you haven't purchased anything from that person, which their prices are really fair, and usually they throw in extras and do some of the best packaging. So I yeah, I don't understand it. Why, honestly.
I, I don't either. And I've probably come to the defense because I signed up for Twitter in January of last year, tweeted maybe like once or twice a week or once every other week up until October of about this time last year. And then that's when I really hit Twitter hard. But in the last like year that I've really been unhealthily on Twitter, I've probably come to the defense of more people that I don't follow and that I don't interact with on a somewhat regular basis than I have with the people that, I interact with on a regular basis, and that kind of thing. And the drama that went down this week, but between the two accounts, there was, I don't even really know how to say it, but when I first got on Twitter, I saw some accusations. So I reached out to one of the accounts and I was like, I'm just trying to, I'm fairly new to Twitter. Once again, I'm nobody. I don't mean shit, but from what I've seen, these accusations aren't true. And then that person went down and kind of broke things down for me. And once I went back and looked at what he was telling me versus what I could see with my own eyes, I'm like, okay, these accusations aren't true, and this person's trying to skew things to their favor. And there was a lot of people that bought into that, and there was a lot of people that I don't want to say brainwashed because it's not that serious, but there's a lot of people that got fooled over it, and now this person can do no wrong no matter what they do, even though they got their start by ripping off someone else's content, like almost like post for post. And do a little research. A little research goes a long way. Like, I'll have no problem to an account, and like before I, shit
No,
on you.
it's like that the Scooby Doo meme. Come on, gang, we ain't reading that shit. Let's scroll the comments. That's what they do.
Yeah,
So, but anyway, enough of that. The negativity. There is some positivity. Today, I don't know if you seen the news. Let me
maybe like an hour before we went live, or maybe an hour or so before we went live.
about minor league baseball.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're getting synced up, man. We're on the same wavelength. But yeah, so MLB has decided, because MLB does run minor league baseball now, if people haven't realized. Oh yeah, the Umbrella League. Shit. I was so unprepared that now I can't find the article. But basically, all 30 MLB owners voted unanimously that they are going to provide housing for minor league baseball players. Now, this, not to be a negative Nancy, that sounds awesome. People are like, oh, cool, they're going to provide it. Minor league baseball teams, or MLB, has been providing housing for a few organizations this past minor league season. But what that doesn't say is whether or not the players are just going to get a stipend, or if they are going to, or if MLB is going to fully cover the cost of housing for minor leaguers, which, if they're not going to fully cover it, then in my opinion, my humble opinion, it's not enough. There is a page on Twitter. It's called Adopt a Minor Leaguer. Great page. And I've done that the past 2 years. The first year, it didn't really work out all that well for me because COVID happened. And so the dude's his season got canceled. Well, everybody's season got canceled, and he really wasn't all that active on Twitter as much. So it kind of sucked because I really wasn't able to help him out, the way that I wanted to. But this year, there's a player in the Kansas City Royals organization that I was able to adopt, and so the Royals, they provide housing for their players, which sounds awesome, right? They have to pay $15 a day, which also sounds like a drop in a bucket. Not that big of a deal. Guess how much his per diem is? $15 a day. So, are they really providing sufficient housing for you? Especially when the room, we asked him, what he would need. Like if he has a refrigerator or stuff like that. He has a mini fridge that he shares with a roommate. So you can imagine how much stuff you can keep in a mini fridge. And I don't know if you've seen a mini fridge, but the freezer section is about that big, right?
Yeah. It's like maybe 1.5 feet long.
Yeah. So, yeah. And they're not allowed things like hot pots or stuff like that, kind of basically like the dude was back in college because he got drafted this year. So he's still kind of living that college life. But yeah, it really wasn't helping them out. And I mean, it does, but it doesn't, because you're not going to. I didn't ask him this question, if he had to like sign a lease or anything, or how that would happen if he ended up getting moved up, because this year he basically spent the entire season in Arizona, in the Arizona Complex League, and then the Fall Instructional League that's going well. It just ended yesterday, but I sent him not a lot, $100 worth of gift cards of restaurants to where he could eat at, and the dude was so appreciative and just didn't stop thanking me. and how much are yeah, like how far that was able to get him through his week, of not worrying about food, and that he could actually save up a little bit of money uh, to be able to, buy whatever he needed to help him survive. And I know that in the larger scope of things, oh, he's a professional baseball player. What what do they have to worry about type thing. But yeah, if this is something you've dreamed of your entire life and you actually get a shot at making it, and then you see that how much the odds are stacked against you, it's just a really shitty situation. But I got a
Yeah,
call.
because it's not in any way, shape, or form like going from college football to getting drafted in the NFL and then, signing a contract to where you're guaranteed certain things. And,
Mhm.
you do sign a contract as a minor leaguer, you're guaranteed certain things, but it's nowhere near like you get drafted, you sign a contract, you find a house, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
It's that easy. And it's not that concrete, and there's so much left in the air as a minor leaguer as to what is or is not going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. And the really bad thing is during COVID, those guys weren't able to file for unemployment because the MLB. Oh, I said the MLB. Shit. The purists are going to be blowing up my DMs. But MLB classifies those guys as seasonal employees. As a seasonal employee, you're not allowed to apply for unemployment. So a lot of those dudes had to get they had to get, for lack of a better term, a real job, and they didn't really have the time to be honing their craft. And yeah, yeah, MLB
My
really
whole
grinds
thing
my.
is if they, my whole thing is, let's say they come out and they say we are going to 100% cover everything. The only thing these guys have to worry about is getting their stuff in this room, building an apartment, house, whatever.
Yeah.
How does that affect the backside of things? Are tickets going to cost a little bit more? Is concessions going to cost a little bit more? Are season uh you know season ticket holders, are their prices going to go up just a little bit? And because they're not going to just work providing anything and everything these players needs, and it's not going to flow downhill kind of thing.
And the shitty thing, MLB will try to make us pay for it because in the article it said it costs less than $1 million to house all your minor leaguers. Uh, Most MLB owners are what $250 million. They have. It's insane. So it's a drop in a bucket, but it'll definitely be interesting because out here in Arizona, being so close to the spring training complexes, you can see what they're building. And the Kansas City Royals and Texas Rangers, they share a spring training complex, and they've built dorms for their players that are right across the street from the main. Excuse me. So I'll be interested to see if that will be free for the minor leaguers or how they're going to try and spin that to make players come up or cover the costs. Because I mean, the dorms look awesome. I haven't been inside of them, but from the outside, you would think that it's a hotel until you get closer and you see the giant Texas Rangers and Kansas City Royals logos on the buildings. But yeah, they look really sweet. So that's a step in the right direction, at least.
Yeah, they're at least like turning in the right direction, just maybe not necessarily like going that way. They just like they're at least making us think they're trying anyway.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I think it's just something to get people off their back a little bit,
Have fire, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know if you've noticed, but they have these wristbands now, kind of like the Live Strong bracelets. I want to say they're like a light blue. I think it says Fair Play on them. I can't remember, but it's basically in support of minor leaguers. And there's actually been MLB coaches and players wearing them this year and showing up on TV with them on. So that's pretty cool. So hopefully that continues. But yeah, I think that about does it for the show, man. Almost an hour, and it flew
Yep,
by.
it did. It really did. I
Yeah,
looked up and it was at like 13 minutes, and I looked back up and I was at like 46.
yeah, yeah. When we get on those rants, and then yeah, maybe next week we'll squeeze in about Topps going to Japan and making Japanese baseball cards and how much I hate that as well.
They can't screw that up yet.
Yeah, because if I start talking about that, we'll be at 90 minutes. Yeah, and I want to go watch some of the football. So, but yeah, thank you everyone that was active in the chat. I really appreciated it. Still appreciate it. All the interaction and everything. Thanks for viewing. And Houston, you have anything to promote?
Yeah, I had 2 interviews that I was gonna do last week, and I said one of them stood me up, which I wasn't mad about because I got to claim 2 cars that I really really wanted, and then the other one with the Nightmare Factory had some scheduling conflicts. So hopefully I'm off Tuesday, so I'm looking to interview both of those guys this Tuesday. I'll be interviewing Austin Green, the bodyguard, who has not wrestled but has had appearance on AEW Dynamite and has been choke slammed by the giant Paul White on live TV. So that we're definitely going to ask him about that. And he's trained with the Nightmare Factory. Just absolutely massive guy. But then the other one is his name's Caribbean Tiger. He's a heel around here. I've seen him wrestle a couple of times, and he's a damn good heel. So I wanted to get him on and interview him. So hopefully we'll have Austin Green on at 2 p.m. Tuesday, and then Caribbean Tiger at 3:30 on Tuesday. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. I'll cross the fingers and the toes for you, buddy. Hopefully it works out.
I'll need it.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, we'll see you next weekend. So